They laughed when it happened. That's the part people don't expect me to say out loud. Not awkward laughter, not nervous laughter, real laughter. The kind that fills a room and makes you feel smaller with every echo. I remember standing there, heat blooming across my cheek, my ears ringing, my heart doing that strange hollow thud where it feels like it drops somewhere you can't reach. And him smiling like he just won a joke contest, turning to his friends and saying, "See, she won't even say a word." Yeah, that was the moment everything changed, even though no one else in that room realized it yet. Let me back up a little. My name isn't important, so let's call me Claire. And for most of my adult life, I was known as the easy one, the quiet wife, the woman who kept things smooth. I married Evan because he felt safe at first, confident, charming in that effortless way that makes you feel chosen. He liked to say, I grounded him. What he really meant was I didn't challenge him, at least not in ways he noticed. I learned early that silence could be a shield, that staying calm could keep the peace. And for a while it worked, or at least I thought it did. Our house always looked perfect from the outside. Clean counters, dinner on time, polite smiles. Evan's friends loved coming over because everything felt easy. His parents loved me because I never caused scenes. I was agreeable, adaptable, grateful. That word came up a lot. Grateful. As if marrying him was some kind of rescue. And maybe in their eyes, it was. I came from a smaller town, a quieter life. They came from money, from connections, from rooms where people spoke loudly and expected to be heard. I learned how to fade into the background so well that people forgot I was there. The jokes started small. Little comments dressed up as humor. She's low maintenance. She's simple, but in a good way. Evan would laugh along sometimes, even add to it. I told myself it didn't matter. I told myself words were just words. You know how we do that, right? We minimize because it's easier than admitting something hurts. I didn't want to be dramatic. I didn't want to be difficult. So I swallowed it, again and again. But there's something funny about swallowing too much. Eventually it starts to sit wrong. It started with his family dinners. His mother would ask when I planned to do more with myself. His sister would comment on my clothes, my background, my lack of ambition. Evan never defended me. He'd squeeze my knee under the table like that was supposed to make it okay. They mean well, he'd say later. You're too sensitive. And I believed him. Or at least I tried to. The real shift happened the night Evan brought his friends over unannounced. They were loud, half-drunk already in that mood where everything feels like a performance. I offered drinks, snacks, smiled like I always did. One of them looked at me and joked that I was basically part of the furniture. Another said, "Hey, at least she listens." They all laughed. Evan laughed the loudest, and something inside me went very still. When I tried to step away, Evan told me not to walk off while people were talking. His tone wasn't playful. It was sharp, possessive. I remember thinking, this doesn't feel like a marriage. It feels like a role I didn't audition for. The comments kept coming. About how I was lucky. About how Evan could have done better. About how women like me should know our place. And I stood there nodding, breathing slowly, feeling something old and familiar stirring under my ribs. Not fear, not sadness, awareness. You see, there was a version of me none of them knew. Years ago, before I met Evan, my life looked very different. Discipline, early mornings. Bruised knuckles. Quiet focus. I learned control before I learned compromise. I learned how to read people's weight shifts, their intentions, their tells. I learned patience. Real patience. The kind that waits for the right moment. But after an injury, after life pulled me in another direction, I walked away from all of that. I packed it up, told myself it was in the past. Evan never knew. He saw softness and assumed it meant weakness. That night when he slapped me in front of his friends when they laughed and he shook his hand like I'd hurt him, the room went quiet inside my head. Everything slowed down. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I didn't react at all. And that confused him more than anger ever could. One of his friends muttered that it was too far, but Evan brushed it off. "She's fine," he said. "She's not the type to fight back." He said it like a compliment. After that, something shifted in the house. I stopped trying to smooth things over. I stopped filling silences. Evan noticed. He didn't like it. He went through my phone one night while I was showering and found a single message I'd sent to an old contact. Just 3 words. "Are you around?" He didn't know what it meant, but it made him uneasy. He started watching me the way you watch something that might surprise you. Then I found out about the affair. Not through a confession, through carelessness, a receipt, a name I recognized because his family loved to compare me to her, the woman they said he should have married. I felt the truth settle in without drama, no screaming, no breakdown, just clarity. It explained everything, the distance, the contempt, the way he spoke to me like I was temporary. When I refused to sign over something that mattered to me, something my parents left behind. His mask slipped completely. He called me ungrateful, said I owed him. That's when I realized the marriage was never about love for him. It was about control, about convenience, about choosing someone he thought he could manage. The night everything came to a head, Evan hosted a dinner he didn't warn me about. Important people, he said, people who mattered. He told me to stay out of the way, not embarrass him. I did the opposite, not loudly, not dramatically, just deliberately. When he tried to physically steer me upstairs, I moved. A small shift, barely noticeable. He missed. Tried again. Missed again. Confusion flickered across his face. People laughed, thinking it was clumsiness. I knew better. And so did my body. When I played the recordings, I'd quietly kept his voice admitting everything his mother's voice outlining her plan to break me down. The room changed. You could feel it. The air got heavy. His reputation, the thing he cared about most, started to crumble right in front of him. The woman he was cheating with walked out. Her family pulled their support. His friends avoided his eyes. Suddenly, he wasn't the powerful one anymore. He tried to recover, to charm, to intimidate, to beg. None of it worked. I handed him the divorce papers he'd filed against me, now amended. My terms. Fair terms. Protective terms. He read them with shaking hands. He knew he didn't have leverage anymore, and that terrified him. When I left that house, I didn't feel triumphant. I felt light, like I'd been holding my breath for years and finally let it go. Strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like a quiet woman standing her ground while everyone else realizes they underestimated her. So here's my question to you. How many times have you seen someone dismissed because they were quiet? How often do we confuse calm with weakness? Kindness with submission? Was I right to wait? Was I wrong to plan? Or was it justice taking its time? Let me know what you think. Share your perspective, your experiences, your disagreements. These conversations matter, and if this story made you think twice about the people you overlook, then maybe it did what it was meant to do.